Starting in the name of Allah, the most merciful, mighty, and gracious to all. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and welcome to the class of Research Methodology. Dear students, in the last lecture, we discussed the measurement of variables. In the detail, I told you that measurement of variable, what does it mean? It means when we want to measure our variables, we need some methods, we need some techniques. In the last lecture, I told you that when we want to measure a variable, we have two techniques, we have two methods, measurement of variables. It is done with the help of two techniques. One was known as operationalization definition or operational definition, and another that is known as your scaling technique or scaling method. In the last 14th lecture, I explained the concept of operational definition under the theme of measurement of variable. If you remember, I told you that operational definition, it was a technique to measure a variable that where we take clear a concept or a concept. Concept or concept is simply a variable which is subjective in nature. Simply means that we are unable to measure such variables clear directly. So now when we have a subjective type variable, concept or construct, so we first start from the operational definition concept if we want to measure that variable. Then I explain in detail that operational definition simply means that the concept must be splitted or converted clear into different dimensions and sub-elements, and upon those elements then we have to develop the different questions clear or the statements. See, is it? Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. All the discussion already we have discussed in the last concept, last lecture. Now today the next measurement of variables, now the next method, that is scaling method. So here if you notice that in the lecture initially I mentioned here that measurement of variable, and here I have mentioned the scales method, is it, or the scaling techniques. Up now what does it mean, scale method or scale technique? Up once clear through operational definition, we have term the variables clear or convert the variables clear into different dimensions and elements. So upon each element or dimension then we have developed the different questions or statements. Now the questions with these elements against which we would collect some data, each question need to be measured. Simply stated, whatever the question we have developed, like for example if you remember I told you with an example that do you like the subject math? Do you like the subject math? It is a question, and how I term this question, how I develop this question with the help of operational definition method. Once I have termed this question, once I have developed this question, now I want to measure this question. Is it? Now to measure such question I need clear a scaling technique, and here I have mentioned here in this lecture number 15 we are going to discuss the scaling technique, and in this question this yes and no, that is simply known as clear the scaling technique. Now if you remember I told you that first we are going to discuss that how to develop this question, is it, that is basically done through operational definition. Once each question is developed, now we want to measure clear each question for example in detail, so then we use the next technique which is known as your scaling method or scaling technique. So inshallah in this lecture we will discuss the different types of scales. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now according to some bookish definitions, let me first highlight that what is the concept, what is the definition of measurement. Measurement is the process of assigning numbers or labels to objects, to person, to states of nature or some events. Focus on this word, that measurement is a process of assigning some numbers. It means, like for example when I'm saying that employee work hard 10%, 20%, 30%, is it? What does it mean? To employ productivity or to employ work hard, I am assigning the numbers. 20%, 30%, 40%. Is it? So it simply means when we assign some numbers to an event, an object or person, or sometime we provide clear some labels. What is label? Label is, look at here, when I put forward a question that working conditions are fair, good and excellent. Now look at here, fair, it is a label, good, it is a label, excellent, it is again a label because it is not a number. Is it? When I'm saying that working conditions are 20% good, 40% good, 60% good, it means then I have assigned some numbers. But here I have assigned clear some labels clear to a question. These are basically what? These are basically the different scales. Lekin actually these excellent clear, that is as a fair, good and excellent. As a whole it is considered as a scale. But individually like fair, like good and like excellent, that is considered as a label. So measurement is what? Measurement is simply a process that where we measure a question by providing clear or by assigning some numbers or some labels to an individual, to a statement, to a nature, to an event. Measurement means that scales are simply used. As I told you that we have to use different types of scales. We have different types of scales, like for example nominal scale, ordinal scale, is it? Some more scale, Likert scale, is it? Graphical scales. So when we want to measure a question, a statement, we use different kind of scales. So when we use the different kind of scales, simply stated, that is known as measurement of a concept through scaling technique. What is scale? Scale are a set of symbols. It can be a symbol, it can be a graphs, for example, it can be the shapes, it can be the faces, or it can be the numbers assigned by rule to individuals, their behaviors or attributes, characteristics associated with them. Is it? So hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. So simply stated, when we want to measure a statement or a behavior, we definitely want to measure it. For measuring purpose we need scales. And what is scale? A scale is simply a measuring process that where we assign some numbers, some labels clear to any of the object, to any of the variable, to calculate its capacity, to calculate its, for example, measurement. So such technique is known as your scaling technique or measurement of scales. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now as I told you that categorically we have 4 scales. One is known as your nominal scale, another is known as your ordinal scale, another is known as your interval scale, and the last is known as your ratio scale. Is it? If you focus on the first nominal scale, one by one, let's start from the first nominal scale. What nominal scale says? Nominal scales are used to clarify objects, individual, groups or even phenomena. What does it mean? The way you come to nominal scale, it basically categorizes the objects. Is it? It only distinguishes the object from one clear object to another. It may clear a differentiation among the objects. It can be individuals, it can be group, it can be any phenomena or event. Is it? Now, awalane nominal scale khususiyat dade, characteristic dade, it basically make the category clear of the or classification of the different objects or individuals. Then simply the nominal scale is count of the objects belonging to different categories. It simply explains that which category we have. We only, for example, categorize clear such objects or counts that object in such category. The example like for example gender. Suppose when I am saying, look at here, gender there. Is it? Gender ke one I have male and another I have female. Is it? That is male and that is female. Look at here. This gender is a variable, lekin it is a nominal variable. Why? Because it divides the whole into 2 categories. One is the male and one is the female. And the people who are clear male, they will definitely tick on the male category, and the female, let's suppose, definitely will click on the or tick on the female category. So gender is a variable which only categorizes clear into 2 categories. Same is the case the state of residence. State of residence, for example, your kasway, let's suppose agawai sir the, let's suppose Iran ke paate kegama. सही छुआ या ईरानियन आई एम ईरानियन बल वही चीज़ पाकिस्तान के पाते की गमा बल वही चीज़ फॉर एग्जांपल अफगानिस्तान के पाते की गमा इज इट अब सोच चे अफगानिस्तान के पाते की एट द सेम टाइम अब पाकिस्तान के नशी पाते की दे अब द पीपल हु आर लिविंग इन पाकिस्तान एट द सेम टाइम दे कैंट बी लिव इन द फॉर एग्जांपल Iran. So it means that state of resident, it is a variable which categorizes clear the state of resident into three categories: Iranian, Pakistanian and Afghanian, for example. Same as the case of country, same as the case of ethnicity. Like as I am, for example, let's suppose I am Ahle Tashi, I am for example Sunni. So of the person who is, let's suppose which is the Hispanic yama, the Asian yama, the African yama, look yo kas che African de no aga Hispanic ne chikide. So che Hispanic de no aga Asian ne chikide. So it means all such types of variables which categorizes clear or which make the categories that is simply known as your nominal scale. Now nominal scale sirf aur sirf che kam de da categories create ki. सही हुआ like zeta astawa for example to religion mazhab उस यौ कस्ते सही अगे मजहब च कम दे अगा इस्लाम दे सपोज इज इट बल च दे अगे मजहब च कम दे अगा क्रिश्चियन दे बल च दे अगे मजहब च कम दे अगा हिंदू दे अब द पर्सन हु टिक ऑन द हिंदू एट द सेम टाइम कैंट बी फॉर एग्जांपल एन इस्लामिक at the same time can be a for example Christian. Of the person who belongs to a Christian religion doesn't mean that at the same time he must belong to a Hindu. At the same time nashikide. No, it means the religion chikamde sayshura it is basically a nominal variable because it categorizes into three different levels. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. The other way tikura nominal scales are mutually exclusive. Ab what is mutually exclusive? What a mutually exclusive mean that if one category is existing at the same time the next category cannot be exist. Like this suppose gura stats ke already we have discussed this idea. Let's suppose I have a coin. A coin has two sides. One is head, one is tail. If head is occurring, it can't be possible that tail will occur. Or if tail is occurring, it can be possible at the same time that head will be occur. So it means head and tail are mutually exclusive. That one is appearing, one is occurring, next one clear, the second one cannot be occur. That is known as mutually exclusive. No way nominal scale chikam there, that is mutually exclusive. For example, for example, I put forward a question from an employee that what is the employee status, married or unmarried. Of the person who is married, is it at the same time can't be unmarried. Or let's suppose a person who is unmarried at the same time can be ticked at the married. So it means at the same time they have to pick only a single option. So it means married and unmarried both are mutually exclusive. If married is happening, unmarried cannot be happen. If unmarried is happening, for example, married cannot be happen. Hope inshallah idea will be clear. And both are two different categories. Is it? It divides the data into two categories. Hope inshallah a bit idea batasula clear shawi. And the example tata so guri chagura madal ta yo question work kare de what is your class rank clear at CITT. CITT that is an organization. Da yo for example organization da सही छुआ दा यो इंस्टीट्यूट थे यो यूनिवर्सिटी नुम दे फॉर एग्जांपल कॉलेज नुम दे जो आयामा चे फॉर एग्जांपल एज एन फ्रेशमैन आया बिल्कुल मुकम्मल फ्रेशमैन लेवल के या आया फॉर एग्जांपल स्टॉपफोर लेवल के सही छुआ जूनियर लेवल के सीनियर लेवल के उसका यो इंडिविजुअल दे इसका यो स्टूडेंट थे अगर फ्रेशमैन के दे मतलब इनिशियल ग्रेड के दे नो कैंट बी इन द जूनियर can't be in the senior and can't be at the sophomore level. उसका यो का senior level के दे यो employee for example सही छुआ no can't be in the junior, can't be in the freshman, can't be in the for example sophomore. So therefore it simply says that gura the class rank ch kam de it divides into four categories: freshman, junior, senior and sophomore. Is it clear? Hope a bit idea will be clear. Us de para come your statistics more preferable the de para when we are using let's suppose the nominal scales in the organization or in the questionnaire we mostly use the percentages and counts. Sayshula ya modes chede sayshula we can definitely istifada kawaleshu. Now we have the ordinal scale. If you focus on the word ordinal, by the name it is clear ordinal simply mean rank. Yo sizla rank wal kawal. Sayshwa or rank hota so pata da what is rank. Rank mean for example your tartib wal kawal. Like this after suppose let's suppose your race lago. We are conducting for example a race. Is it? Of the person who got first position that will be placed on the first place, the person who got the second position will be placed on the second place, and the person who got the third position definitely will be placed on the third place. So it means 1, 2, 3. That is a rank. That is showing clear a position, a ranked. So when we give order, is it to the objects or order, for example, to the events, to individuals, so it means that we are using the ordinal scales. Now look at here. These scales allow for labeling or categorizing as in nominal scale. जे संगा nominal scale categorization कई दा हम categorization कई, लेकिन nominal scale के for example ranking नश्ता, लेकिन दलता सिश्ता दा it allows ranking. Is it clear? So the ordinal scale position objects in some order. संगा चे मस्त आस्ता हुए, लेकिन गोरे the example दो गोरे. It will make your idea fully clear. Rate these vacation destinations in terms of how much you would like to visit from 1 to 5, with 1 your most favorite preferable and 5 your least favorite or preferable, for example, place. Gora seziyunadi zataso na tapos koma chetaso roxatene kam zetera walgwadi, where you want to spend your vacations or holidays. Bermuda, that is a city. Florida, again a city. Hawaii, that is again a city. Aspen, again a city. London, again a city. Is it? अब तासो वही, let's suppose I want to pick Florida. अब pick Florida, no Florida मख के तासो 1 उली की. Is it? ब्या तासो वही च Aspen will be my second option. Is it? ब्या तासो वही च London will be my third option. अब for example Hawaii च कम दे, that will be my fourth option. And Bermuda च कम दे, that will be my, let's suppose, the 5th option. Is it? अब what does it mean? अब 1 shows your more preferable city. 2 shows the second preferable city. 3 shows clear, let's suppose, the third preferable city. It means 1 show the most preferable city and 5 show the least preferable city. So what does it mean? That you have ranked all the cities according to 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So when you are using clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you are ranking the data. It means that you are using the ordinal scales. So also these are the categories. Like now these categories clear having some scales. Is it? Categories having some ranks. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now what it says, that this type of scale can provide information about some item having more or less of an attribute qualities than other, but no information on the degree of this. Is it? That is a very common, like for example I have mentioned that yes, my first preference is Florida, because in front of Florida I have mentioned 1 mean most preferable. Ab Aspen or Hawaii, is it? That contains 2 and 4. Ab I can't compare clear 1 with 2 and for example 1 with 4. Zuwayama, how much Florida, is it, and how much Hawaii. They दोनों के सही वाला preferable खुदे Florida more preferable दे as compared to Hawaii. वाले जो Florida लमा 1 वर्क करे दे and Hawaii लमा 4 वर्क करे दे. लेकिन दा दोनों इधर यो बल सर नशम compare को वाले. जो Florida 100% for example मा ख्वाखीगी और Hawaii चले मा 100% ख्वाखीगी. दा मा तपता दा जो Florida is more favorable than Hawaii. लेकिन I can't compare that how much Florida will, let's suppose, more preferable than Hawaii. It means that सही वाला ranking हो कई order वर्क कई, लेकिन meaningful चिकम attribute ते less or more चिकम attribute ते सही बचे दा मुंगता न clear कई. मतलब दा degree मुंगता न clear कई. लेकिन इस तास्तो है मैं कहना कि Mr. A is 1%, 2%, 3%, 10%, 5%. For example, intelligent than Mr. B. So that come attribute there, such a degree that is not possible in ordinal scale. अब दे पारा preferred statistics कम की दिशी, frequencies की दिशी, median की दिशी and mode की दिशी. दा already था so statistics के वैली हम दी. अब ordinal scale is used to rank the preferences, as I told you, or usage of various brands of a product by the individuals and to rank order in individual object or event. Sanga, this example uguri, it will make your idea inshallah fully clear. Da guri, zawayama, following personal computers. We want to buy some personal computers. With respect clear their usage in your office. Matlab from the office usage point of view, sara. Assigning the number 1 to the most used system, 2 to the next most used system, and so on. And if a particular system is not used at all in your office, put 0 in next. For example, Dagura, Apple de, Compaq USA de, Dell computers de, Gateway de, Dachekam de, for example, Hewlett de, IBM de, Packard Bell de, Sony de, Toshiba de. Office ke tolo na zyad kam yo istifada ki. is zawayama suppose zamu office ke chide del tolona in our office from the usage point of view del is more preferable or del is mostly used clear by the employees within our office no del lama yo work kro उस जवायामा कि तुशिबा को चोकुम ने इस्तेफादा कई नो देना बज सिफर वर्क करवा अब व्हाट डज इट मीन सेकंड माने कम यो ज्यादा सेकंड माने फॉर एग्जांपल जवायामा कि एप्पल डेज ज्यादा is it or for example third माने कम यो दे IBM डेज ज्यादा अब व्हाट डज इट मीन दैट वी हैव मेड द डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज अब अकॉर्डिंग टू प्रेफरेंस ईच कैटेगरी वी आर गोइंग टू select is it so it means that we are basically ranking clear all the categories so that scale that where we rank the different categories that is simply known as your ordinal scale hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear now we have another scaling technique and that is known as your interval scales what is interval scale okay students now we have internal scales what is interval scales interval scales simply by the name it is clear that is interval scale matlab we have a proper interval in between like as suppose sayshwa masara yaw scale de let me first write it down here da was wala ma ozo dalta tasu tadika ma suppose zawayama masara yaw quantum de is it and that quantum contains an interval sayfa matlab for example that the wayama that is status sara 1 that is status sara 2 that is status sara 3 that is status sara 4 and here you have 5 is it up kidishi that is status sara very low category is it very low category LOW and that is very high category yeah very effective category up you have put forward a question that the employee is clear how much employee is in the commitment अब यो कस चे कम दे अगा पर 2 minute tick की is it means that is very much near to low for example commitment if a person चे कम दे अगा पर 4 minute tick की it means the person is clear very much near to high clear in commitment so now if you focus that when we have clear a scale let's suppose with an interval gaps such is known as your interval scale dita munga wayu interval scale aksar butta suda lidali hami chikam say we have the equal distances like 1 na 2 2 na 3 3 na 4 whatever the distance 3 and 4 same distance we have between 2 and 3 same distance between we have 2 and 1 and same distance between 4 and 5 Saishwa? Now such type of scale is simply known as your interval scale. Now look at the definition. It contains the information available in ordinal scales. Saishwa? Ranking. But with the added benefit of magnitude of ranking or to what extent. It means चुगोरा interval scale चकम दे अगर basically पर categories माने identification कई लेकिन यो category the bulk category ना it means as I told you that in ordinal scale we have an order लेकिन ordinal scale doesn't give us an idea clear about the extent clear that how much one category is more superior or good than the other category up to this for example lack or deficiency the researcher developed clear another scale and that was internal scale interval scale simply means that it depends upon on the order is it depends upon on the category but it also explain that how much one category is superior for example in magnitude clear to another category or simply stated that from one category to another category clear that make clear a difference or that clear the basically to what extent one category is good clear to another category or in other word mung da vele chu che da scale che kam de yo category or bulk category darmiyan che kam magnitude de saishwa to some extent or ya kam extent saishwa gradability da aga explain kai now we have that interval scales have equal distances da khama tasu la clear kar che whatever the distance 1 and 2 have same will be have between 2 and 3 3 and 4 and 5 and equal distances be told of Darman scale these scales can contain a 0 point where 0 che kam de saishwa that will be subjective in nature ya saishwa not or less meaningful us suppose tasu tawaya suppose for example da di masara your quantum I have a quantum is it अब here the temperature is 0 अब 1 2 3 and delta temperature दे 5 suppose is it here is I have 5 अब delta चिकम दे अगा दे -1 -2 -3 -4 और delta temperature चिकम दे सहीशवा अगा for example that is -5 उस suppose the temperature is 3 here. उस temperature delta 3 degree centigrade थे. When I'm saying that temperature is 0, अब 0 doesn't mean that temperature is really 0. Chakala zawayama, when temperature is 0, it doesn't mean that delta se temperature shtana de. It means 0 doesn't mean 0. But 0 will have clear a very less meaning. Sayshura, 0 will be less meaningful. Che 0 de, sayshura, no aga positive side ta hum niz de de, or aga 0 che kam de negative side ta hum niz de de. Wale, che zakala wayama, for example, -1 temperature de. Ab it means that this temperature is below clear the 0. That is near to 0. So when we say sayshwala che 0 delta che kam de agar der kam value lari, lekin value lari. Sayshwa, so 0 is what? 0 is basically subjective in nature. Or 0 is sayshwala, 0 doesn't mean sayshwala che 0. Really 0 na de. 0 means something is existing. Is it? So temperature se temperature mung sara yo common example de, that is of the interval scale. So de para kam statistic istifada ki deshi, that will be mean, median and mode. Is it? Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Up look at here. The common example there, as I told you, for example, I'm taking an example. I believe my college education has prepared me well to begin my career. Sayshwa, che aya zama che kam college de, sayshwa aga ma career ke der effect pate shave de. Ab how much I am being as an employee agree to this statement. Ab number 1, strongly agree. Number 2, to some extent agree. Number 3, neither, I don't know. 4, to some what agree. And 5 means strongly agree. Uskura da numbers di. Is it clear? Or das taso labels di. So your student way, for example, agar 2 mane tick ki. Any of the student pick the 2. It means to somewhat disagree. One of the students say, my college, for example, give me a full effect of, let's suppose, education, clear, and they help me out in my career building. So I'm very much agree. So he ticked 5. So it means the person is strongly agree from such a statement. Whatever the scale we are using here, this whole scale is known as your interval scale. Because the difference between 1 and 2 is the same as difference between 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 5. Matlab 4 और 5 के चकम फर्क थे मगर सेम फर्क 2 और 3 के मिश्ता दे दास इन्हें दे जो 2 और 3 के 10 फर्क दे सही हुआ और 4 और 5 के चले दा 20 फर्क दे not at all सही हुआ दास केस नस्ता 4 and 5 के हम यो फर्क दे सही हुआ यो यूनिट सही हुआ या यो एक्सटेंड और 3 और 4 के हम 2 and 3 के हम यो एक्सटेंड So such interval is simply known as your such a scale is known as your interval scale. Now we have a ratio scale. A ratio scale has all the qualities of nominal scale, ordinal scale and interval scale. But where is the difference? The difference is that 0 de, that is an absolute in nature. Absolute means simply it has a meaning. 0 doesn't mean 0. It will be something. For example, let's suppose if my income, explain income income that is 0. When my income is 0, so it simply means that it has an existence. It is absolute. 0 means nothing. अब ज़िद तास्तो वाया माँ ची weight सही हुआ अगर चूरा दे अगर 0.5 दे सही हुआ या for example 0 दे अब 0 mean for example 0 is meaningful सही हुआ दलता 0 चे दे अगर यो अहमियत लरी लेकिन ज़िद तास्तो वाया माँ suppose ये बल example में explain कमा तासो आइडिया में मोरम clear शी ज़िद तास्तो वाया माँ ची Mr. Adil तासो तपोस हो गई you should ask from Mr. Adil ची आया अगर चूरा बची दी where their age is greater than 3. Is it? For example, asked from Mr. Adil that how many children do you have that whose age is greater than 3. Ab zadal tali kama 0. It means zama kho yo bachem da se nashta de sayshwa che age age for example 0 3 na sewai. Ab there here 0 has a meaning. It means that I have no baby or no children that whose age is greater than 3. Is it? Cuz it's astawaya ma che Mr. Adil sta so bachi di. Is it? No zama bachi nashtadi. No therefore I can write down here 0. Ab look at here. Here 0 means sayshwa 0 has a meaning. Sayshwa just something is absent. Lekin interval ke chale 0 means that something is really not absent. Something is there. Lekin minor de. Lekin when we are talking about ratio scale, ratio zaka zawaya ma che ratio delta 0 liki. सही शुआ लेकिन 0 के दैट इज एन एब्सोल्यूट मीन दैट सही शुआ की देशीदा बिल्कुल मुकम्मल 0 ही सही शुआ नो रेशियो और इंटरवल के अंदर फर्क दे जो वेयर इंटरवल के माइनर दे 0 सही शुआ इट मीन्स टोटली नॉट खत्म और रेशियो के चले फॉर एग्जांपल 0 इज कंसीडर्ड एज एन एब्सोल्यूट होप इंशाल्लाह अ बिट आइडिया विल बी क्लियर और देते पारा सजेस्टेड चिकम दगदी स्टैटिस्टिक्स दे अगर टूल दी चिकम इंटरवल के मुंगा इस्तेफादा को होप इंशाल्लाह अ बिट आइडिया विल बी क्लियर अब रेशियो स्केल्स आर यूजुअली यूज्ड इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस रिसर्च when exact number on object as opposed to subjective factors are called for as in the following question like for example how many other organizations did you work for before date joining this system matlab to let's suppose join our organization clear so before this how many organizations you have joined us likal before this I have joined only a one organization ab gora before this I have joined only a zero organization अब 0 delta means बिल्कुल no is it that is absolute in nature अब 0 मतलब बिल्कुल सही शुआ absolute ते 0 mean really 0 सही शुआ no da your concept दे 0 mean सही शुआ absent of something अब गोरा मखा example चिकम I have given to you that please indicate the number of children you have in each of the following categories अब below 3 years between 3 and 6 years over 6 years but under 12 and 12 years and over अब जवाया below 3 years دلتا خصوكم نشتدي دلتا صفر لكما अब between 3 and 6 years دلتا لكما I have for example one बच्चे योज वे मेरे is it अब गोरा दलता I have put 0 means that they are really absent सही शुआ nothing is happening here and between 3 and 6 मतलब I have only a one for example child between this so here 0 means सही शुआ बिल्कुल नशते 0 has a value 0 has an importance सही शुआ 0 show that absolute for example 0 shows clear a meaningful 0 here hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear your bal example हम दे how many retail outlets do you operate 0 operate 1 operate 2 operate 3 operate 4 operate so 0 means सही शुआ again a valuable नो सिर्फ योदा फर्क दे रेशियो और इंटरवल स्केल के now the your workout होने summary दा just to make your idea clear that when we are talking about the nominal split data into groups categories सही शुआ like for example gender अब गोरा when I am saying gender is a variable अब gender has two categories one man and one woman सही शुआ no gender is our nominal variable then we have ordinal variable as I told you ordinal mean rank the data अब rank data in some order for example exercises for 20 minutes is good 30 minutes is better and 40 minutes is best is it so it means good better best is it again rank the data then we have interval as I told you interval will use clear data on quantum matlab da yo series de gora 1 2 3 up to 8 अब 1 chikam de say it states very low and 8 7 and 8 it states very high उस जगह for example our employee or our working condition our employee are happy with our working condition up at very low or very high yeah for example organizational commitment is clear very much toward organization toward employee up very low very high सही हुआ दा गोरा 4 और 5 चिकम दे या 5 चिकम दे 10 तासु सरा मीडियन दे चदे मीडियन ना लांदे दे सही हुआ it has a tendency toward very low and then चिकम पास दे it has a tendency toward very high so गोरा in between 7 and 8 we have only a single unit difference in between 6 and 7 we have only a single unit difference in between 5 and 6 again we have only a single unit difference same is the case in between 1 and 2 in between 2 and 3 in between 3 and 4 सही हुआ so whatever the differences we have clear at the lower side we have the same differences between clear at the upper side as well so it means that is using a quantum सही हुआ so this scale is known as your interval scale now the ratio scale as I told you the ratio scale किसे दे ratio contains all the qualities of nominal ordinal and interval with a for example absolute 0 mean सही हुआ 0 will be a meaningful 0 अब it starts with the absolute 0 जैसा मासा हुए and it indicates proportion for example this after वयमा गोरा यो सिस्टे 0 ना 5 ना 10 अब गोरा the equal interval ना दे why because 0 और 5 terms के 5 interval दे and 5 the next सही हुआ again गोरा 5 and 10 दे terms के again for example 5 interval दे अब next will be 15 सही हुआ अब गोरा interval चिकम दे आगा same दे सही हुआ, लेकिन 15 is 3 times greater than 5 and 15 is 4 times greater than 0. It means gora 0 or 5 termans ke chikam de सही हुआ, that is 5 is twice, let's suppose, greater big as compared to 10. 10 is, for example, let's suppose 15 is greater than 10, so that way 10 is twice as big as 5. सही हुआ, no the quantum chikam de सही हुआ, the proportion wise de सही हुआ, quantum wise नष्ट de. So that was basically a summary clear of your 4 categories of scaling. Dear students, now we will discuss some more scaling methods, or we will discuss some more scales. Now Gore, now we have a balanced or unbalanced clear scale. Gore, balanced or unbalanced, by the name it is clear that one should be balanced clear and one should be unbalanced. Ab the definition हट के चले डायरेक्ट एग्जांपल सर बता सुला idea clear कमा, it will make your idea fully clear. Suppose I have a question that how good a car is Honda. चे Honda car सूरा खरे. अब look at here, I have used 2 scales. यो दा तरफ तदे very bad, bad, neither good nor bad, good and very good. अब if you focus on these 2 responses, the दो द्वारो responses ता उगोरी. Look at here. अब that is basically the bad response. This is the bad single category and this is clear a bit high category of very bad. It is a good category and this is a clear a high, for example, very good category. So like high response है. अब दोड़ा चिकम दे bad and good, very bad and very good. अब it is balanced in nature. सही हुआ, तो मतलब यो bad दे बिया very bad दे, बिया यो good दे बिया very good दे. अब in between we have, for example, neither good nor bad. अब such state scale is known as a balanced scale because clear दोनों तरफ ता चिकम दे सही हुआ गोरा दा यो bad quality दा, is it, और दा यो good quality दा. लेकिन good के for example again further ranking शवे दे, यो good दे और बिया very good दे, लग मतलब higher दे. यो बैड दे और बिया वेरी बैड दे लग हायर दे. सही दोनों तरफ था बैलेंस दी, is it? So that is known as a balanced scale. While delta unbalanced scale दे, how good a car is Honda? I will start from poor, fair, good, very good and excellent. If you notice, that is a rank. सही which start from the least attribute and which move to the greatest attribute. So that is an unbalanced clear scale. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. अक्सर बताओ questionnaire के दासी गोरे different scales चिकम दे organizations इस्तेफादा कई during the research. अब गोरा we have clear a simple category scale and sometimes it is known as dichotomous scale. गोरा simply stated, what is dichotomous scale? Dichotomous scale दा तासु सरा categorical scale के राशि, मतलब तासु सरा mostly nominal scale के राशि, where you only have the answer in yes or no. Yes or no answer rashi, that is known as dichotomous scale. If you remember, when I start the course, when I start the lecture, I have given you an example. Do you like the math? Do you like the subject math? Yes or no? Gora altamas tasuta yes, सही and altamas tasuta no sara reply dar kade ho, सही respond dar kade ho. It means initially सही to measure an statement or behavior or question, I need a scale. I required a scale and where I used clear yes or no. So that yes or no was simply known as your dichotomous scale. Gora, I plan to purchase a laptop in the 12 months. Is it yes or no? Simply such scale is known as your dichotomous scale. Are you happy from Mr. Adil's teaching? Yes or no? Is it dichotomous scale? Are you happy from the organization system? Yes or no? Is it? How much you, for example, are you happy, let's suppose, clear from purchasing the online system of ABC company? Yes or no? Are you happy from your salary? Yes or no? So whenever the responses only contains yes and no, such is known as your dichotomous scale. सही हुआ डेफिनेशन था तो बुक न कतेशी मैं सिर्फ एग्जांपल सरा तासुरा सीजन क्लियर करी दी जो डायरेक्ट एग्जांपल न तासुरा आइडिया मिला वशी. Now we have multiple choices and single response scale. Ab what does it mean? Single response, it means that the individual will have the multiple responses. Out of the multiple responses, individual has to pick only a single response. Matlab, you will have multiple choices. Is it 3 to 5 choices? And out of 3 to 5 choices, you only have to select only a single choice. So such scale is known as multiple choice single response scale. Now look at here. I have a question that what newspaper do you read most often for financial news? To know about the financial news, for example, what newspaper do you prefer? You have multiple newspapers. The Numunadi, City Gazette, you newspaper Numde, West City Tribune, regional newspaper, national newspaper, other specify. Is it? Now you have multiple options, multiple, for example, choices. I, let's suppose, prefer West City Tribune. Among multiple choices, I only prefer the single choice. Is it? So such scale is known as your multiple choice single response scale. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Uskura dalta age ultada. Multiple choices again, but multiple responses. It means you have multiple choices, but among multiple choices you have to pick, let's suppose, 2 or 3 choices. Previous ke multiple choices and we pick only a single choice. But here multiple choices and multiple responses. Suppose sanga, what sources do you use when designing your new home? Please check all that apply. Is it? I have, for example, get a source that was an online planning service, that was an architect as well, and that was, for example, the independent contractor or builder. So it means now I have used the multiple response. I had multiple choices and I have used clear the multiple sources. The question chikamde sayshwa da staso the hakim kawale shay ordinal ke ham kawale shay ya, for example, ranking him nominal ke ham kawale shay. Like for example, zawaya gora which one is more preferable to you? Sayshwa agela staso rank work. No staso way chigora awal ranking chikamde aga contract builder de agela staso 1 work. Second chikamde, for example, that was architecture la staso second work. Is it? Online chikamde dela, for example, third work. Same multiple choices, multiple response sayshwa da soshwala with the help of your ranking data ya nominal data. Mostly da chikamde ordinal data mane me question solve karo. A multiple choice with multiple responses sayshwa, and the scale is your, let's suppose, ordinal scale. Ordinal scale tame concept rawaro. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. No da do tariko sara da hakideshi halkideshi. Now we have Likert scale. Well, Likert is the name of the person that who introduces this scale. So that is known as your Likert scale. Ab gora Likert scale shuru ke mas mostly you have seen such type of scale clear during the research or questionnaires. Gora strongly agree, disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree or strongly agree. Such type of scale is simply known as your Likert scale. If I, for example, suppose a question, the internet is superior to traditional libraries for comprehensive researches. Strongly agree, disagree, Zawayama, for example, the internet is superior to traditional libraries for comprehensive research. Zawayama, yes, the agree. Is it? That type of scale that where we are using strongly agree to up to, for example, strongly disagree, such type of scale is known as your Likert scale. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Now we have numerical scale. Numerical scale simply say the our definition ugri the like confusing de muzaka tashura de like example mem declare the definition just to make your idea clear. An attitude rating scale. It means this rating scale is mostly used to measure the attitude of individual. Similar to a semantic differential, expect that it uses numbers. Semantic check come there sayshwa aga mostly chede aga mostly tick istimalai ya dot istimalai da hum yo mungsar scaling de sayshwa same akashante de lekin here farak chede like gora semantic ki chede semantic ke dalta sirf aur sirf da se dashes lagi dali. Is it clear? Like this same sayshwa in the semantic we have dash. In between two attributes like extremely favorable, this is one attribute, extremely unfavorable, it is another attribute. Between two extremes of attribute we only have to pick this dash. So that is known as your semantic differential scale. Lekin semantic differential scale it doesn't use the numbers. while numerical scale, it uses the numbers when we want to measure the attitude between the two extremes, like extremely favorable, extremely unfavorable. And here now between the two extremes we have used the numbers. 1 show extremely unfavorable, 2 show a bit near to unfavorable, 3 that is moderate, 4 extremely favorable, 5 extremely, for example, favorable. Inshallah a bit idea bataso clear shawi. Now look at the definition. An attitude rating scale that is similar to semantic differential except that it uses numbers. जैसा मास्टर सुई चगोरा semantic चकम दे तशो अगर dashes ने इस्तेफादा की और दलता चकम दे number ने इस्तेफादा की instead of verbal description as response options to identify responses. Like for example we have a question, we have a example. गोरा employees cooperation in teams. अब extremely favorable and extremely unfavorable. Zewayama employees cooperation in team that is for example favorable day. अब favorable के सूरा favorable के 5 extremely favorable करना moderate favorable. The tick comma तशुरा 4 moderate favorable. अब Zewayama employees knowledge of task. सही हुआ. अब knowledge of task अहुई सूरा दे Zewayama चतुरा favorable न दे. सही हुआ. ज़दलता पर 2 माने tick कमा. ब्याह Zewayama employees planning effectiveness. सूरा effectiveness. Zewayama 50-50. So then I tick the 3. That is mean median. So that type of scale is known as your numerical scale. Sadat Faske, numerical scale is that scale which basically uses some numbers, some digits between two extremes to measure the attitude of the individual. Is it? Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Next students, we have the Stapel Scale. The Stapel Scale च the mostly marketing section के देर ज़्यादा इस्तेफादा की. अब suppose I have a company, is it? A company have different aspects, is it? अब these I want to know clear about the aspects of the company clear from the market point of view. अब your company दा अगर different aspects गोरमा, like for example I have a company ABC, is it? अब company technology गोरमा च आया market के company technology wise leader दा Canada. The Gorama exciting products, for example, again product chikamde, how much innovative product clear the company has, and the world class reputation. What about its reputation? Is it? So now when any of the attitudes that consists of a single adjective mean for example that's the taso characteristics the qualities the in the center of an even number of numerical values. Simply stated, go suppose Jama company that I have a company ABC company. I want to know clear from the market that either they have clear our company, let's suppose, has the exciting product or not. Now clear according to product adjective or attribute or characteristic we want to know. They have make a scale. Gora dalta chikam 1 to 5 te sayshula that told chikam de das sasutara positive responses de para de, and here clear they will have the negative responses de para de. Now you are going to ask from an individual that either our company has the exciting product or not. They say yes, your company has the exciting product. It means the response is in positive, is it? Now you have to ask that if clear our products are exciting in nature, so how much, let's suppose, exciting? 1 2 3 4 5, 1 to 1 up to 5. 1 mean least excited, is it? And 5 mean the most excited or exciting. So now the individual has to pick clear the extreme between 1 and 5. Let's suppose individual say that your company products are very much exciting, so they pick the +4. So +4 will indicate to the company that our, let's suppose, existing products are very much exciting clear or provide excitement to the individual. Suppose you want to, or I want to know about my company that either my company using the technology is, for example, through this technology my company become a leader in the market or not. Now again I want to know the positive and negative responses from the individual or from the, let's suppose, individual in the market. Suppose individual say that whatever the technology you are using that is not up to date. What does it mean? It means again a negative response came to me. Under the negative response I want to check out that how much negative it is. Either -1 or -5. -1 mean very much negative, is it? and for the negative delta matlab that is very much old, and 1 mean minus 1 mean for example again it is old, lekin as compared to minus 5 that is not as much old, is it? So Stapel scale is one of the scale that where organization or company want to check out its various aspects clear and want to get responses into positive and negative, but under the positive and negative matlab these are the attitudes, they have to give some numerical values to those attitudes, is it? So such type of Stapel scale is such type of scale that with numerical values is known as your Stapel scale. Now we have the constant sum scale. If you notice students, the word constant sum scale, it means constant a sum, simply stated, constant a sum, or sum must be a constant, is it? That is simply known as your constant scale. What are your example में दिखा रहे that बता सो idea इंशाल्लाह मुकम्मल clear करी. ज़वायामा suppose कि come your attribute is more valuable to me or more valuable to the individual, give marks clear to that attribute. Like ज़ता ज़वायामा suppose ज़मा your company दा अगर साबुन जुड़ी, is it soap, beauty soap. अब beauty soap के fragrance let's suppose smell चे कम दे, that is more valuable to the customer. Design matlab packing, is it? For example the crystal clear sabun for example shape charange de, that is more. The price, the quality, these are the different characteristics, these are the different qualities of a product. Which quality is more valuable to the customer, customer will give clear mark to such quality. Let's suppose price is very high, is it? So price is more important to me, so give 80% marks or 80 marks to price. Smell is very important to me, so give 20 marks to smell. So it means whatever the trait characteristics clear regarding to product is valuable to me, I have to give clear marks to that quality. So that state that scale is known as your constant sum scale. What are the example clear? Divide 100 points among the following brands according to your preferences for each brand. अब brand A, brand B and brand C. अब total marks सूरा दी, total marks 100 दी. सही हुआ? ज़वायमा brand A च कम दे, देता तासु वर कई 60 mark. सही हुआ? Brand B च कम दे, let's suppose देता तासु वर कई 30 marks. Suppose. And brand C च कम दे, let's suppose देता तासु वर कई 10 marks. अब 60, 30, 90 and 10 total 100 marks. Is it? अब I know from these marks that brand A has more preferences to the customer. Why? Because more marks are given by the customer to brand A. It means brand A is more valuable to the customer. It can be given to the quality as well. So definition says a measure of attitudes in which respondents matlab individuals are asked to divide a constant sum to indicate the relative importance of attributes. Respondents often sort cards, but the task may also be a rating task. The amaga rating task, they go 62 na that valuable de no constant sum scale chikam de, basically it is a rating scale. Matlab that's also your ordinal scale de. Hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear to you. Now the last we have the graphing rating scale. Aksar basta net money days they are survey lidali where you have to use the different let's suppose the faces. अब दा फेस लगे से शो कई very likely and दा फेस लगे से शो कई very unlikely. सही हुआ? अब between the two streams सही हुआ you will have the different faces here and you have to pick a single face. So it simply means a measure of attitude that allows respondents to rate an object by choosing an point along with graphic quantum. that's what actually dali dalta bo yo bal shakal jodi dalta bo drem shakal jodi dalta bo thaloram shakal jodi. सही हुआ? अब between all the faces you have to pick clear a single face and that will basically show you clear the let's suppose the responses. This shows the very likely response and this face show the very unlikely response. Mostly internet chekam survey ki सही हुआ? अगर mostly या psychological chekam let's suppose satisfaction या mental दगदे पारा response से पारा चेकला हम survey की no mostly researchers chekam they use the graphic rating scale. या marketing for example chekam survey वगैरह की internet माने internet through survey they mostly use the graphing rating scale. It simply means that use the graphs and graph means simply the rakam chekam shakal de, so you have to pick that one. So hope inshallah a bit idea will be clear. Thank you so much.